Okay, let's start by looking at the New Score tab in the Quick Start dialog box. You can see it contains many different templates, and we're going to actually create a new score from scratch. So I'm going to click once on the blank tab. Remember, if you click twice, it'll just open up your score showing blank manuscript paper. If you click once, it'll bring you to this area where on the right-hand side you can add a variety of different elements, instruments, etc. to your score. First thing we're going to do is look at the house style. A house style is basically the overall look of your project. So for example, if I wanted this to look a certain way, maybe I wanted to use lead sheet ink pen, then it would show that way after I've added an instrument. So let's go ahead and do that. Add an unnamed treble clef to the score and click OK. Now you can actually see what that particular house style looks like. You could change this and move it around and choose different kinds of styles based on, the music that you're doing. So for me, jazz ink pen works just fine because I like that more handwritten style. Change instrument tab here is where you can add or remove instruments. You can also change the location in your score where they appear. So for example, let's go ahead and add piano. We'll say add to score. It's going to give us a piano grandstaff. Now let's add bass. I want electric bass, so I'm going to come up here and do common instruments. We'll say jazz or rock and pop instruments. That's what we'll do. Bass guitar. And we'll say 4-string bass guitar notation. Add that to the score. And then maybe acoustic guitar. So I've added these to the score. Now, if I want to change the location, maybe I want the acoustic guitar at the top. So I can select that and then hit move, and it's going to move it up or down based on, actually where I do move it. Let's go ahead and delete this now from the score. So now I'm going to have a piano, a bass, and acoustic guitar in that order. I click OK. It's going to show me all of those here in my score. Now we can move on and select a time signature for our score. And let's look at what these numbers mean on the bottom. These numbers mean or show you how the eighth notes are barred together. So in this case, 4/4, we have 4 eighth notes tied over the top with a bar or beam, and then another 4 tied with a beam over the top. If we chose this 3/4, we have 2, 2, and 2, so 2 eighth notes beamed, 2 eighth notes beamed, and 2 eighth notes beamed. If we want to create our own beaming, we can do that as well. Let's say we want to go 6 and 2 for a total of 8. For here on our 4/4, we could select other, 4/4, and then we could say beam and rest groups, and we could say eighth note quavers, let's say 2, 2, 2, and 2. So now, when we click this, you can see there's our new option, 2, 2, 2, and 2. So we have a time signature that's 4/4. We can come here, and if there's a pickup beat, we need to add it here. In Sibelius, it's a little more difficult to add a pickup beat later. We can set our metronome marking. So let's say metronome is 120, and then choose our key signature. Let's go ahead and choose a flat key. Let's see, the key of B flat's what we want this in. And then we can write the title and the composer and hit create. Now it's going to create a new score based on all of those things that we entered. So here's our score, our name, the composer, tempo, and then the order of our particular staves. Todd's first song, and documents folder is fine for now. So I'll click save, and you go up here, you can see save, Command S, and save as are the two options. Okay, once you've got your project saved, you may want to add some additional bars. So we can go to the home page, the bars subgroup, and the add button, or we can use the shortcut. You can see it there, Command B. So I'm going to use the shortcut, Command B, and that adds bars at the end of my score. As I keep entering bars, it'll just move over and create a new system. So now I'm on page 2. Command B is a shortcut for adding bars. Let's say, for example, that you want to change an instrument. Maybe you made a mistake. You can triple click to select the staff for the whole song, and then come up and say Change Instrument, and go to electric guitar instead, and click OK. And now that instrument has been changed. You could also add or remove the instruments there as well. So electric guitar, delete from score. Do I really want to do this? Yes, I do. So delete it and click OK. And now we just have a score with piano and bass. We may also want to change the key signature of our song. We can do that by coming to the Notations tab, the Common Group, Key Signatures, or using the shortcut K. So I'll do that, K. And key signatures, let's say I wanted to go from B flat major to E flat major. So what I'm going to do is select that. Now what you'll notice is if you look at the mouse on the screen, it's colored blue. That's because Sibelius has what it calls loading the mouse. So what we've done is load the mouse with the key signature. So now wherever we drop the key signature is where that key signature will be placed. So in this case, I've placed it right there. So now we have a key signature of E flat starting on bar 3. If I want to change that again, I can go K and click a different key signature, and it will change it. If I unselect it and go and select, let's see, F major at that point. Now our mouse is loaded, and click where we want that key signature to be. I think now is a good time to talk about what's called a restorative object. Restorative objects are basically that Sibelius only will place an object where you've told it to place it. So in other words, if we have one bar selected like this, and then go up and select a time signature and say we want to go to the key of F, not only did it select now the key of F for that one bar, but it restored it back to its original key after our selection. So that's a restorative object, where it'll make the change you request, but only for the bars that you have selected. If you've been a Sibelius user for a while, you may miss the Legacy Key Signature dialog box. You can find that by coming down here to More Options, and then it shows you a different view of the same information. I'm fine with the new one, so I don't usually worry about that. So a few more things about key signatures. You can actually select a key signature and delete it like that. But what you'll find is that you cannot delete the key signature at the beginning of your score. So for example, if you want this score to have no key signature, what you need to do is go to the key signature, K, and choose atonal or no key signature, and then add that to your score. So that's how you create a score with no key signature.